Yo, what's going on, guys? Joey Sugarbuck is back here with another video for you guys. So today, guys, it is part 7 and the final episode of NFL questions from followers and subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the contributions. We got a lot of questions to answer today, and it's a great way to end this series. First question, let's jump right on into it, because again, we got quite a bit of them today. Comes from Jordan. He sent me a direct message on Twitter. He has 2, actually, asking, do you think there is going to be an NFL season? So again, I'm glad he asked this, because I told you guys I'm going to address this essentially every video now. So, let's see. Friday. This week has not been very good in terms of COVID cases for our country of the United States. It has not been very good. Several states are struggling, such as Texas, Florida, Arizona. They are not doing well. So this week was not exactly very encouraging. And then you may think, okay, is this going to have an impact on the season? I mean, I guess it does, but it was only 1 week, so I don't think we need to totally fret about it. If this continues to happen, like over the next few weeks, and it consistently happens, then we certainly have something to worry about. I mean, we always have something to worry about, but then we have confidence that the season won't happen, or at least we'll get delayed. So, do I think there's going to be an NFL season? Yes. Do I think it's going to be completely normal? Absolutely not. And it may not start on time either. I'm starting to think that it might not. But I do think there will be a season. I don't think it's going to get totally canceled. He also asked, do you think the Cowboys will make the playoffs? I may have answered this a few videos ago, but it's fine. We'll do it again. Do you think the Cowboys will make the playoffs? Yes, and the main reason why is because that division is so bad, so it's not gonna, usually the NFC is good, but that division is terrible. The Eagles are gonna be mediocre. They still may sneak into the wild card because there's now the 7th seed, but who else? They got the Giants in that division, and I guess is it the Redskins who are also in it? I don't even know. But regardless, it's not, no. That division is terrible. And the Cowboys aren't even that good either, but I would say that they're probably the best in the division. I think Philadelphia is going to kind of decline a little bit. So I am going to say yes, the Cowboys will make the playoffs because they'll win the division. If you win your division, you're automatically in the playoffs. Why? Because, I mean, again, their defense, good enough. Prescott can get the job done. Still got great receivers. They did lose Travis Frederick on offense at center, which is a big loss, but they still have Tyron Smith. No, I think Zach Martin retired too, didn't he? I don't even know. But they still have Tyron Smith, who is possibly the best left tackle in the league if it's not David Bakhtiari. So good enough offensive line. Great running back in Ezekiel Elliott, and again, great receivers. Amari Cooper, Michael Gallup. So, they have good receivers. Defense is, again, okay. I mean, they have a few really good players here and there, but there are some weaknesses. So, DeMarcus Lawrence, Leighton Vander Esch, Jalen Smith, but they did lose Byron Jones, and that is a big loss to that secondary. So, they have Jeff Heath, I think, still. But other than that, their corners are lacking a little bit, and of course, Jeff Heath is great safety. But again, defense is mediocre, but offense should be good enough to get the job done, and they could be a scrappy 9-7, 10-6 team and make the playoffs. That is my current thinking for now. Next question comes in from BGWX. So, biggest sleeper from the draft this year. So, this one's a little bit hard to answer because, as I said, sorry about that noise, guys. As I said, I don't exactly follow the draft that much besides the Ravens, because it's just it's so hard to follow who picks exactly what. But of course, I follow the big picture, like Bengals take Joe Burrow, Dolphins take Tua Tagovailoa. I want to mention, I'm not exactly sure if this guy is a sleeper, but I want to mention Jordan Love. Packers took him. So I've been seeing a couple debates on Twitter and asking if Jordan Love will get playing time this year. So obviously he won't be the starter. Aaron Rodgers will be the starter for Green Bay. But will Jordan Love make his way in, I should say. So Rodgers always has been sloppy. Well, I shouldn't say that. He's always been a little inconsistent over the past couple years anyway. So if the Packers are really struggling and Aaron Rodgers is not doing well, will Jordan Love make an appearance? Now, not wishing this happens in the least, but one thing I've noticed over the past maybe 5 years, Aaron Rodgers seems to get hurt every other year. He usually breaks his collarbone like every other year. So let's see. I think he broke it in 2017. And he hasn't broken it the past 2 years. But you always got to worry with Aaron Rodgers and injuries. He does get hurt a good amount of the time. And since that he's getting older now, it's not the hardest thing to do. Again, not wishing he gets hurt at all, but that's also one thing to keep an eye on. So is Jordan Love a sleeper? I mean, it's kind of hard to find a sleeper because I feel like a lot of the main guys who are going to get playing time are kind of getting a lot of hype. But I would say Jordan Love is definitely perhaps a sleeper because he could be really good if he's able to click with LaFleur like Rodgers did. And if Rodgers gets hurt, it's up to Love to kind of turn things around, or at least keep them going if Rodgers is doing well. So that is something to keep an eye on. Other than that, I don't really think there's any other big sleepers from the draft. Again, there might be like some 4th, 5th round picks who might be decent, but I'm not sure if they're going to get any playing time. And in terms of receivers, so let's see. I think it was the Bengals who took T. Higgins. Raiders took Henry Ruggs. I think it was, who took Jalen Reagor? Was it the Eagles? I don't even know. I know the Eagles also took Jalen Hurts. That's also a similar situation. Carson Wentz and Aaron Rodgers have injury issues. Wentz more. But again, Jalen Hurts, if Wentz gets hurt or Wentz is not doing well, Hurts could easily make an appearance. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. So I think the biggest quote-unquote sleepers are going to be quarterbacks that were drafted to back up injury-prone starting quarterbacks. So that's it for that one. Next question comes in from Justin. Sent me a direct message on Twitter asking, let's see, what did he ask? Do you think the Panthers can be a wild card team? Do I think the Panthers can be a wild card team? Maybe. I'm not 100% a believer in the Panthers. I mean, obviously, they won't win the division. The Saints will obviously win the division, but could the Panthers sneak into the wild card? And again, the 7th seed, they can be like 7-9 or 8-8 and still make it in. But I think that, there is a chance that the Panthers can be a wild card team. When it comes to what they've done in the offseason, the biggest problem with them is lost Luke Kuechly. He retired. That's a big loss because he was really, really good. So Luke Kuechly's a big loss. Of course, they still have Christian McCaffrey. Average offensive line. Receivers, though, are actually pretty good. They have DJ Moore. Let's see. DJ Moore, I think they drafted someone, too. Let me go ahead and look up. I remember he and I were talking about this. I think they drafted a receiver. And they also, the starter, I think, is going to be Teddy Bridgewater, or is it going to be Kyle Allen? I'm not 100% sure. Obviously, Newton's gone. But yes, that's right. They have DJ Moore. I keep thinking they drafted a really good receiver, but they didn't. They signed Robbie Anderson from the Jets. Thanks to Justin for reminding me of this. So they have DJ Moore and Robbie Anderson. And I actually think Robbie Anderson is going to do really well because he's good, but he's not really a number 1 wide receiver. But since he has DJ Moore backing him up, he could be a really sneaky good number 2 receiver. So I think the Panthers' offense should be solid this year. Again, offensive line is average, nothing special, not terrible, very average. And when it comes to defense, they drafted, again, thank you to Justin for reminding me of this. They drafted Derek Brown. He is a defensive tackle. And also, sorry, I forgot to mention this. New coach, right? Fired Ron Rivera. Matt Rule is a new coach. Apparently, he's a defensive specialist coach. And they drafted Derek Brown. He's a defensive tackle. I don't really know any other good defensive tackles or defensive linemen that the Panthers have, so I'd assume that he would get playing time. Derek Brown out of Auburn. So their defense could be decent. In secondary, they have James Bradbury. Other than that, not many guys. Again, lost Luke Kuechly, but the Panthers could be a wildcard team. I'm going to say that they're going to go 7-9 and sneak into the wildcard and then get blown out by the top seed. That's my best guess as of now, so we'll see. Next question comes in from Adam Tweet. Sent me another direct message on Twitter. Who is the most underrated player going into this year, or like at least a top 5 most underrated player? See, this one's kind of hard to answer because I can think of a lot of overhyped players going into the year. Marquise Brown, Devontae Parker, Juju Smith-Schuster, Ben Roethlisberger, Drew Lock. Those are all overrated guys going into the season. Underrated. That is a tough one. So I'm trying to think of like who might. One guy that I do want to remind is Ryan Fitzpatrick. So again, he has been all over the place. Probably the most inconsistent quarterback you're gonna get. But when it comes to what he can do, I mean, here's the thing about Ryan Fitzpatrick. He's not always good, but when you need him to show up, he does. The Dolphins needed Ryan Fitzpatrick to drive down the field and beat New England in that Week 17 game, and that's exactly what he did. Of course, got the help from Devontae Parker and Albert Wilson, but still, I think Ryan Fitzpatrick is rather underrated. And then you wonder, is Tua Tagovailoa going to take over? But I think, again, Fitzpatrick will be the starter, but if he starts to struggle, I'd assume Tua will come in. But I would say Ryan Fitzpatrick's a little bit underrated going into the season. In terms of other underrated players, I mean, of course, as you guys know, Matthew Stafford, he's always been underrated. But other than that, I'm not 100% sure of any underrated players. I feel like there's a lot of overrated players, not many underrated players. But still, I think that, it could be something. We will see what happens when it comes to, like, if Fitzpatrick can get something done. But will the Dolphins be good? And I talked about how the Cowboys losing Byron Jones was a big loss. He went to Miami. So that's another thing to keep in mind. So Byron Jones is on the Dolphins. Problem is, the Dolphins don't really have any other good defensive guy. I think maybe they drafted someone or some people, but I don't know anyone else good on that defense. But their offense is still solid. Devontae Parker coming off an insane game again in Week 17 last year. And Fitzpatrick. Running backs are kind of lacking a little bit. Offensive line is lacking. So, of course, the Dolphins won't be a playoff team, but they could be something. I think Fitzpatrick, some people say Fitzpatrick's career is over. I don't agree. I think he still has a little bit left in him. I think that's just about it. Ryan Fitzpatrick is the main guy who's underrated, and, of course, Matthew Stafford. So we're going with the quarterbacks for now. Next question comes in from Owen Anastas. Again, contributing. Thank you so much. Let's see. He asked, how do you think the Browns are going to do this year? So, again, may have mentioned this in a few videos ago, but the Browns are being totally slept on. If you're looking for an underrated team going into this year, based off of Adam Tweet's question, the Browns, very underrated team going into this year. First of all, again, great offseason. People don't seem to be talking about the offseason that they had, but it was really good. Got Austin Hooper. They still have David Njoku, but he has injury issues. Got Jack Conklin, who's a very solid right tackle. I think they still have Joel Bitonio. They have Nick Chubb, who's incredibly good. Very mediocre quarterback in Baker Mayfield. But Odell Beckham, Jarvis Landry, again, not a fan of either of the guys, but they are pretty good. And I used to think Beckham was overrated, and I still think he is a little bit. But one thing to keep in mind is, apparently, Beckham had, surgery last year, so he was not 100%, and now he is 100%. So Beckham could be better. He was a total bust this year. He might be better next year. And you got Jarvis Landry, again, very solid, very solid number 2 wide receiver. And then I'm not sure if they still have Ricky Seals-Jones, who's a speedy tight end. But again, I think they have a really underrated defense. Remember, Myles Garrett is coming back. They have Larry Ogunjobi, who's a solid defensive tackle. Let's see, who else do they have? They lost Jabril Peppers. They still have Morgan Burnett. Denzel Ward is good. I think they also still have Sheldon Richardson. He's a little bit past his prime, but good enough. And again, I think that the Browns, it's an incredibly underrated defense. And it's not insane, but it's solid, and it can get the job done. And their offense is shaping up to be pretty good. And again, even though Baker Mayfield isn't even that good, he could be like Ryan Tannehill, who doesn't really do much. He kind of gets carried, but he gets the job done. That's really all Mayfield needs to do this year, assuming that Beckham is better, Landry is at least as good as he was, or even a little bit better too. So I definitely think the Browns have all the pieces to be a playoff-bound team. I think the Browns will certainly be a wild card team. Will they make it past the wild card? I'm not sure, but definitely a playoff contender. We will see how deep they make it next year, assuming that there's a season. last question. Actually, this person asked a couple questions. We got, this one came from JKP Weather, by the way. He asked, do you think the cancellation of the Hall of Fame game is a sign of more cancellations to come? So yes, guys, forgot to mention, Steelers, I think they were playing the Cowboys. That Hall of Fame game was canceled. They canceled it a couple days ago. Not surprising whatsoever. And is that a sign of more cancellations to come? So I'm going to say no. I actually kind of think that they're canceling all of these, and I'm not going to say they don't mean anything, but they're canceling the preseason games to try and make room and be able to make the regular season happen. But will they cancel the whole preseason? Probably not, but they'll definitely reduce it to 2 games, maybe even 1. I don't think that's even disputable. There's no way there's going to be a full 4-game preseason. I'd be shocked, unless something drastically changes. But is it a sign of more cancellations to come? Besides, taking out 2 out of 4 of the preseason games, I don't think it's a sign of more cancellations. I think they're doing this to try and make room for, I should say, for the regular season and perhaps the playoffs. Sorry about the ding, guys. Just getting some notifications here. So, is it a sign? I do not think so, but we will see. Do you think there will be any disparity between teams? For example, will the Texans play with no fans, but the Patriots will? No, I don't think so. And he's asking that because our state of Massachusetts, and just the New England area, is actually doing well with COVID cases. But as I mentioned to start the video, Houston, Texas is not doing well at all. So you wonder, will it differ because we could maybe have fans, but they won't? I don't think so. I think either all teams have fans or all teams don't. And again, to start the season, I think definitely going to be no fans. I definitely empty stadiums. There may not be fans the whole season. There may not be a season. There's so many possibilities. But best case scenario, I'd say at this case, would technically be fans. But I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's no way that's going to happen. I'm going to say best case scenario, we start on time with empty stadiums. So, will there be any disparity? I don't think so. I'm not even sure if that's a thing where some stadiums have fans and some stadiums don't. Because remember, I'm not even sure if that's exactly fair because like the NFL makes so much money with fans, so it wouldn't really make sense if some stadiums had fans, some stadiums don't, because like it wouldn't really be equal. So I don't think there will be any difference in terms of fans, but we will see. Will there, this is actually not exactly related to the NFL, will there be any expanded playoffs or something like that in baseball or basketball? So, expanded playoffs, I think that I have heard that baseball is planning to do expanded playoffs, because I think the regular season is going to be like 50 games, they said, assuming that they start in early July. They're set to begin. Hopefully that verifies and it actually happens. But apparently they're supposed to do expanded playoffs. So do I think there will be expanded playoffs in baseball? Yes, I think that's their current plan, assuming that the season doesn't start until for at least a few weeks, maybe even late July. I do think there will be expanded playoffs. But for the NFL, I don't think so. Basketball, I don't really follow, so I can't really answer that. You guys can let me know. I would say comments, but the comments are just simply not working. So, just if you guys want to talk about that, just follow me on Twitter, and I will send you a link in the description below. But regardless, if you guys have any ideas about basketball, because I don't really follow basketball that much. So, baseball, definitely expanded playoffs. NFL, I don't think so, but it's a long ways out, so we will see. And guys, that is going to do it for the final episode of NFL Questions from Followers and Subscribers. Thank you guys so much for all the contributions. I really do appreciate it. I really enjoyed doing this series with you guys. I'm going to start doing a lot of Ravens discussions in the next few weeks. And if you guys have any other videos you want me to do, just let me know on Twitter. And that is it. Peace out. Have a great day. Thank you guys so much for watching. And I will see you guys in a week or so.